Oh, good morning. There's a couple of people here who know more than I do about Avenue A, especially Jacqueline. But just to put the two clubs together in their awareness, the Grapevine was formed, I believe I had a note of 1996. There were just some townspeople around Antrim who felt there was a need for a community center that was to promote family and community health and well-being through support, education, and the sharing of resources. I think quite shortly after that started, they added an Avenue A program, which the name I have no idea of the origin. Maybe Jacqueline can fill me in on that. But that was a teen center. I guess I got to duck down here. This camera's ain't too high, too low, but whatever. The program has drawn high school kids basically from all the surrounding towns, all the way down to Jaffrey. I think some go all the way up there from knowing each other in Conval. But it started with Antrim and Harrisville and Hancock and Bennington, and I think kept spreading. We had the pleasure, I think it was in 2018 or maybe 19, to have about a dozen of the participants in that program come and share some of their poetry, such as the piece I had today, which were remarkably good across the board, and some very brave kids to stand up and share some very personal thoughts through their poetry to a crowd of Rotarians, which I was really impressed with at that time. And Jacqueline is their coordinator for that program. Let's see, I don't think I know anything more that's useful for you. So I'm going to let you have the pleasure of meeting Jacqueline Rowland, who, as Peg pointed out, is a real pleasure. I'll aim this a little higher for your benefit too.
Thank you.
So we'll see if that kind of works. Good luck.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you all. I'm so excited to be here. I was telling Laura that this is my first time getting to present to people in person again since the pandemic started. And I'm just so grateful to be here with your group. So just forgive me 1 second while I share my screen, because I don't think I can talk and do that at the same time. My brain won't handle it. All right, let's see. Maybe. There we go. All right, so Bob suggested I just give you all a brief background of Avenue A, because I have spoken to one of your groups in Dublin before, but maybe not all of you together. And I know some of you have heard from our teens. So just a brief background, and then I'd love to present to you what we've been able to do in the last year with your funding in collaboration with Friends Forever International, and what we're hoping to do this year. So I will try to keep it all very brief and maybe even entertaining. I can't promise this early in the morning, but as you can see here, teens from over 14 towns in the Monadnock region come to Avenue A. We are a program of the Grapevine, and we serve teens age 11 through 19. And they come to us from all over our region for after school and evening enrichment programs. And I like to always share briefly about kind of the climate for youth in our region, because this directly informs the work we do. Everything that we're doing is to support youth in our region with the challenges that they're facing, and how we can support them inside of that. So we see challenges with access to activities. Of course, we're a rural area, and so all these towns are spread out, and sometimes it's hard for youth to get to enriching activities or even just get out of the house to do things and have opportunities for things. We see mental health challenges increasing in youth, and access to clinicians and care being limited. And just a couple examples of this: 30% of local high school students have felt hopeless for more than 2 weeks in a row. That's an indicator of depression. And about 20% of local high school students seriously considered attempting suicide in the last year. Yeah, and it's sobering to share that, but I share that because this is what we're always thinking of at Avenue A, is how can we be supporting youth knowing that, 20% are having thoughts of suicide. So we're always looking for warning signs, and we're always thinking about how we can come alongside youth and support them and get them resources that they might need. And then the need for adult mentorship. 44% of local middle school students say that they don't have an adult to go to if they needed help with a problem. 44%. And so we're always thinking about how we can connect youth with adult mentors. It sounds cheesy, but we know that one caring adult can make a difference in a child's life. And now we have research to back it up. The studies on resilience show that the difference between one youth thriving and another in a similar situation can be just one caring adult. So we're always thinking about how we can connect youth with caring adults in their community. And then finally, isolation and disconnection from community. Of course, this became an even larger problem over the pandemic, but even before then, less than half of local high school students in our region reported that they felt like they matter to their community, less than half. And of course, we know as adults that there are tons of adults in this community that care about our kids and our teens. So how can we connect our teens directly with those caring adults so they can experience that and really feel that sense of community connection? So that's something we're always thinking about. And I don't have on here, but of course, substance misuse is always a concern with teenagers, and our local teens are no exception. And so we really believe at Avenue A that primary prevention is connecting youth with positive outlets to express themselves, to support themselves, and positive activities, things to do with their time, keeping them busy. So with the help of over 70 volunteers, we typically serve over 300 teens per year. And we have a unique 2-generational approach at Avenue A because we're part of a family and community resource center. We can really come alongside families and support not only their teens, but also the parents as they parent teenagers, which is no easy task. Parenting a teen, I've been told. I haven't done it yet, but I work with them. So I think that also brings families to us in a different way because they're coming to us for programs for their teens, but also for support beyond that. We do a lot of information and referral for families. We're, especially over the last couple of years, spend a lot of time helping families find resources that their youth might need, whether that's a counselor or some sort of out of school support that we can't provide. We like to come alongside them and help them get access to what they need. And in this environment, we're really all about just building opportunities for local youth. So our programs focus on creative expression, social development, wellness, and career skill building. We have a creative writing club, which visited your group, a woodworking group, after school art programs and music programs, hiking, biking. Our programs change seasonally. And teens come to Avenue A from all backgrounds, public schools, private schools, homeschooled, and all of our programs are free. So that makes them especially important to economically disadvantaged teens. And I'm sorry that my picture is blocked a little bit by this and I don't know how to change it. So it'll be what it'll be.
On the little icons at the top of that block.
Yeah.
You can reduce it. Try the one with two.
Oh, it just did it on my screen, but not on your screen. Oh, I wonder if it's this computer. It is. Oh, there we go. I hope it's okay. I touched your computer, but okay. Really, in addition to all of this, one of our values at Avenue A is that our program is youth driven. So all of our ideas for activities come from youth, and we come alongside them and find volunteers to support the programs and make them happen. And because of this, we're always thinking about how we can build up the leadership skills of our youth and how they can have more of an active role in leading our programs and leading the teen center. And that was something that was on our mind the last couple of years. And this is the backdrop that we connected with FFI, Friends Forever International, with. We had connected with FFI because teens from their Cypress Friendship Program, thanks to Greg and Christine, had visited our writing club. And we were always just so impressed by how they became natural leaders in the group, even if they weren't there for a long time. It was so amazing to our other teams and to our staff and volunteers. And so when we were thinking about how we could get our youth more engaged as leaders and maybe in some sort of experiential leadership training, FFI came to mind right away. We are not about recreating the wheel at Avenue A. We love to partner with programs that are already doing wonderful work that we can align with. And so last year, with your support, we were able to bring teams from Avenue A to FFI for programs focused on leadership development and very experiential workshops and things like that. And so I'd love to share with you how it went because it was very exciting for us. So we started with a 6-week goal setting program, and we were very excited to do this with FFI. It was virtual because of the time in the pandemic that we were running this program. And we thought, are teens really going to be interested in setting goals? And they were. They loved it. So we met weekly on Zoom, and our teens set goals, everything from writing a poem every day to making it through Marine boot camp. And you can see in the corner here, actually, that's Theo. And he became a Marine this summer and is coming back actually on leave to visit Avenue A this summer and lead a week of writing club. But we started with this 6-week goal setting program. And then we went to FFI for 2 days, 2 full day long workshops. One was in the summer where we focused on leadership and communication skills. And our teens had an amazing time. They loved it. And then in the fall, we went back for workshops that focused on identity and homelessness. And we really got a lot from that as well. So I have a video from our teens that I'm going to share because they wanted to share with you what they got from this experience. And let's see if I can find it here. Okay, there we go. They were very nervous making this video because they all thought they're very self-conscious and they didn't think they. Here it is. I can hear it.
We were able to express ourselves in a way that was really nice, and I was able to talk about my identity being neurodivergent and gender nonconforming. And all the alumni there were all really nice, and everything was just really fun, and I would definitely want to go again. It was really enjoyable.
I learned that I to have confidence in myself and that you should be able to do whatever you want to do with no holdbacks. And the alumni were amazing. They were very welcoming, and I really liked them. And they were very nice to me and to anybody. And I'd really like to go again, and I would like to thank the Rotary Club.
What I got from our FFI trips was building my confidence and being pushed out of my comfort zone, and communication and leadership and identity. And we learned a lot about homelessness, and we helped make bags for homeless people in need. And it was really fun, and I liked how we all worked together, and I really hope to be able to go again.
Cool.
People are incredible. They're huge inspirations to the younger generations, and the alumni are so passionate about the program that it just makes it 10 times more engaging to see that young peers are leading. And when we were at the campus in Durham, we were continuously doing a new activity to challenge ourselves, our peers, or help other people. There was this thing called Recipe, which is what they base their programs or their activities off of, which was super cool to see that everything comes back to the recipe. I love the program so much, and I'm glad that we had an opportunity to do it with Avenue A. And honestly, I was thinking about doing FFI on my own, too, because it's just such an incredible program, and like every teen should have the opportunity to be a part of that. And I feel like everybody needs those like life skills that they teach and that they like go over, and like they help you become like a more confident in yourself and like more confident in not only who you are, but like how you can help your peers and just like be a better person.
All right, it was a little laggy coming through on here, but I can send it to all of you as well so you can see it maybe less glitchy. All right, stop that one and go back here for a second. So as you can hear from our teens, they really loved these programs with FFI. And from my perspective, the benefits, there we go. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that worked. Okay, it doesn't always go this way for me with technology. So let's see, maybe I might have spoken too soon. There we go. So outcomes for our youth, and they talked a little bit about it in the video, but youth brought leadership skills from these FFI programs back to our programs, which is exactly what we were hoping for. Michaela, who is in that video, became a student leader in our writing club, and she mentors the younger high school students and provides feedback and leads the group. And actually Ari, who is in that video, is in the middle of this picture here. He became the leader of our manga art group, which is a Japanese form of cartoon art. And Ari planned prompts every week for the group and activities. And one of the things that was so neat to see as he led the group this year after participating in our workshops at FFI was the empathetic focus of leadership that FFI has. So a lot of the workshops talk about communication and interpersonal skills, but also empathy-based leadership. And so just one example that I can think of is one week, Ari came into writing club and he started by just sharing with the group, you know, I'm really sorry if I seem a little impatient today. I've had a really hard week at school and we've done a lot of testing and I'm feeling really stressed out. And after he shared that, everyone in the group wanted to go around and share what was happening for them that week at school, and just started a practice of starting manga art group with a sharing time about how everyone's day went and what was happening for them. So just little things like that have really brought something back to our programs from this experience. An interest in other cultures and travel. A lot of our teens told us prior to participating in this program that they had never met a youth from another country. And so when we went to FFI for workshops led by their alumni from around the world, it was amazing for our teens. They were asking, you know, what is it like in Israel? Or what is it like in Ireland? What was it like for you growing up? They were just fascinated. And to spark that kind of curiosity of other cultures and just the world in our youth, I think is priceless. We were so excited. And then improved communication and interpersonal skills. We are always trying to strengthen these skills in our youth. And it was so exciting to have workshops focused on those topics that they actually enjoyed participating in. It didn't feel boring to them. And one really neat outcome of this is that a couple of kids in the group, I should say 15 teens participated in our leadership programs with FFI last year because of your funding. So out of the 15, a couple of them had some interpersonal conflicts later in the year with some kids at school. And we were able to refer back to the skills that they learned in a communications workshop at FFI and bring them together with the youth that they were having conflict with. And they sat across from each other and used eye contact and all the body language they talked about, and were actually able to resolve what was happening at school. So that was a really big win for us, and yet another thing that we were able to take away from this program. And then opportunities for future travel and leadership development. FFI has nationwide youth leadership programs that youth can apply to participate in. And if they're accepted, they can participate for free. So for our youth to learn about those programs and picture themselves participating in them and know that there are future opportunities to travel and learn more through FFI has been really neat. About a third of the 15 kids plan to apply for FFI's Youth Leadership Intensive when it opens up. So, and I would say that number would be higher, except for a lot of the kids who participated last year are seniors and they're moving on. So we hope to continue this in 2022. It was really successful and we'd love to keep it going. Our goals for 2022 are to bring youth to FFI for 3 experiential leadership days in the summer and fall. And we want to tailor each leadership day to the youth who participate, areas that we think they could grow in and challenge them in. And ultimately, we want to build a core group of teens who participate in FFI programs and bring those leadership skills back to Avenue A and ultimately to our community. We can see that youth who have participated in these programs are already taking on that role in our programs, and we'd love to keep it going with your support. The cost of going to FFI for 3 full days for these trainings is $4,500. And so that's what we're hoping you might support this year. And I have a 1-pager here from FFI that talks more about the program. And I have some more information here about AVA if you're interested. Otherwise, I'd just love to hear your questions. And I think that's it from me. So I'll stop sharing my screen if I can figure that out. There we go.
You know, I felt real solid on FFI. I was part of the Cypress Friendship Program, and I was through a host family, and I chaperoned the trip back to Cyprus, which was a wonderful experience. But I don't know more. I think I need more information about FFI. Not to support this because I certainly would, but I think it would help me understand.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to take that or ask Christine to talk to that. Jacqueline?
Yeah, I'd love for Christine to talk to it. I know she's an amazing advocate for them.
She's running away.
She's running away and running back.
Sorry, it's a bit early in the morning for me to be fully functional, but I'll do my best. I first met Steve Martineau, who's the executive director of, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sometimes my microphone works and sometimes it doesn't. I first met Steve, who's the executive director at Friends Forever, when I was the coordinator for a group working with kids from Northern Ireland. And he was working in Boston with inner city youth at a program called My Town, which is part of the Center for Teen Empowerment in the Boston area. And we just saw some magical things happening between our youth and the youth in Boston. And that's actually what led him to Friends Forever International. So he started working with them. It's been a long time now, but you know, when we were hosting through the Cypress Friendship Program, which was a great experience for us, one of the things we noticed is that the youth, when they were going back to Cyprus, were really wanting something more. They wanted to continue what they had learned here and develop their skills further. And there wasn't really a lot of opportunities for them to do that in Cyprus. So I reached out to Steve Martineau, who's, you know, the executive director, and said, hey, what can we do? So their program, it was mentioned in the video, the recipe, and I'm going to have to, it may not even be on this brochure that I grabbed, but it's a lot about leadership skills and life skills, resiliency and empathy, having fun, you know, when you're doing it, being playful, and just growing communication skills, all of these things that are really important life skills for them to have, but also can be really beneficial in communities that are in conflict or post-conflict, and where there's not a lot of opportunities for interaction with people that are different from you. So So that's what Friends Forever does. They were bringing kids over typically they started doing a 2-week lifeboat model. So they would bring groups of kids from different backgrounds together and put them in a house together, and they have to figure out how to get along. And whether that's who's going to cook dinner, who's going to do the dishes, or, on a ropes course where they're building trust and, doing those kinds of activities. But I think from working with the Cypress group that we brought over, I think it was in 2018, there were a lot of other things which may seem small, but as Jacqueline pointed out, become really important. Starting out your day with checking in with everybody and, how's everyone doing? And they do that at the end of the day too, before they go to bed at night, they check in with each other. And if there's anything that was unresolved, they resolve it before everybody goes to bed. Those kinds of things are also really important. So, it's just a really impressive programs. And as Jacqueline said, one of the key things that I love about it is that they incorporate the alumni as the leaders. That, it makes a huge impact on young people when it's people their age that are leading these workshops, that they can see, oh my gosh, I have the potential to do that too. I can be that person, and I don't have to wait my turn or wait till I grow up, that they can do it now, which I really love. And, they really live what it says on their website, all their promotional materials. That is something they live every day. So we brought kids, as Jacqueline said, to Avenue A over the years. Eleni, who we hosted through the Cypress Friendship Program, came back and lived with us for 6 months or so. And she participated in the writing club, and we just have been sort of building the relationship over time with Avenue A. We brought a group from Israel, I think, and they did an open mic night, which was amazing. And we went to Plowshare Farm, and, any opportunities to give these kids a new experience and challenge them and help them grow. And I mean, I could probably go on, but here's my big endorsement of this partnership is I had the privilege of chaperoning the group twice. And I would say, I was telling Jacqueline, just the difference from the first time that I went with them to the second time was incredible. Some of the kids the first time were very sort of quiet and shy and uncertain and, waiting to to find their comfort zone. And the second time we went, it was a whole new group, same kids that were just jumped right in and were really excited and just were leading by example for the kids who was their first time. And it was just amazing to see. So it has a huge impact, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing too, is the FFI was actually started by Rotarians on the seacoast.
Yeah.
So there's a connection to Rotary with that as well.
And for our teens, definitely the feedback that I heard was having youth lead these leadership workshops was huge, because like Christine said, it just helped them to visualize themselves as leaders, and not thinking that it's something they have to wait until they're an adult to be a leader.
Questions?
I'm really thinking that youth from Avenue A would be wonderful candidates for our cancer program. They just, that would push them into another world.
That'd be amazing. I'd love the flyer, something that I could give to parents about it if you have
We're
one.
not quite just a flyer.
Okay. I'm always here for a piece of paper I can give to parents when they ask for more.
Camp Brentwood Camp.
Yeah.
That's the program where we have 18 slots available to us. And we're negotiating with Nature's Classroom, and looking at how many slots we can do there. So what we're doing is providing scholarships for kids to go into these camps. We're not running the camps ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just one other thing I want to add to, well, a couple things. One is the funding. So I guess last year we gave $5,000 to Avenue A to this program actually happen. So I'm assuming you're not getting money from other places really to support this. So it's really if it wants to go forward, looking for our support to do that. That's really helpful to get out there. And again, without our support last year, that wouldn't have happened, and maybe it's in those kids' lives. And again, there's youth in this area, and again, kids that are looking for some other activity after school, staying involved, and want to move forward with their lives as well.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of our teens, might not normally have access to a leadership program like FFI. That's not something they would normally participate in or even know about. So it was 100% because of the Rotary's support that we were able to do that. We don't have funding in our budget to do leadership programs like this. So it really made it happen.
How many of your kids did participate in that? Might as well focus on that.
Yeah.
And how did you choose which ones went, and how much was that from the 11-year-olds to the 18-year-olds?
Yeah, so 15 teenagers participated in the FFI partner programs last year, and they had to be 14 to participate. So it was age 14 through 19. And we, it was our first year trying this out. So we just opened it up to any of our teens who were interested. Obviously we could only have so many kids participate, but we were able to fill the slots that we had with teens who were interested. When we explained what the opportunity was, they signed themselves up. We didn't force anyone or anything like that. So.
Yeah, another thing out there is one of the things that we've been talking about with the youth, at least summer camps, is sort of do the same thing Christine mentioned. It's not just having to go to camp and then you'll have a week or two of fun and then forget about it. It's really this year-round activity or being connected. So I think that's one of the things that Avenue A can definitely bring to the youth, is that it's not just a one and done. It's you're connected throughout the entire year, learning, and then also mentoring, becoming a leader, as you mentioned. So I think there's that tight connection with what we're trying to do with the summer camps. So again, I think it is a great resource that we can use. Connect with Avenue A. And then also, if you could bring youth to these programs too, that are looking for kids that are want to do summer camps as well as the FFI leadership program as well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll just mention, I think Brentwood addresses kids 10 to 15 years old.
Okay.
I'm not
So that
middle
age
school. I'm not sure what age classrooms.
They start at middle school age and they go right up to.
To high school.
They become counselors.
Okay.
Eventually the executive director. That's major. I think you can go maybe.
At any age, so older kids can go to that.
Not 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
If you break that down, that's only $100 per day for a student. Really is not money.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, Greg, I think it worked well for them to have these experiences that we could then refer back to during our programs, because our programs at Avenue A happen every day of the week throughout the year. So they could go and learn these skills, but then really apply them and take on new roles as leaders within our programs. So it really didn't stop with that.
Right, and as Peg mentioned, she's been looking for ways to have continuity throughout the year. So steering our kids back toward your folks, back toward your programs, may provide that.
Actually, another thing I want to add too is, I think another great part of FFI is the international connection with getting kids from other countries. So I know for my kids, we've had an opportunity, and I'm sure a lot of other people here too, to travel overseas, to see what it's like in other countries, to meet people who are a lot like us. The culture's a little bit different, but I think that really helps bring the world closer together and understanding the rest of the world. I think a lot of these kids that are in these programs probably will never have the opportunity to go overseas. So I think that's a great piece that's there to really, that are not sort of these other camps that we're talking about. So again, really think about that too, how to tie them into the world and not just this local community.
Well, I for one am thrilled that you're with us this morning. This
Thank
was
you.
wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Great time.
Oh, 8:32.
Thank you.